Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary back with another video, and today I'll be talking about some of the coldest Jets takes in history. But before we get into it, I just want to say I'm Matt O'Leary. You can follow along with me on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, check out the podcast wherever it is you get your podcast and link to the merch store down in the description below. All right, so for those who don't know, what a cold take is essentially something that you put out there, a take you had, an opinion you had that you thought was going to come true that did not come true. So I put out on Twitter, I was interested in what were some of your better cold takes on the New York Jets. I said I would start. Mine was that Ja'Kai Polite in the third round was a good pick. I thought he was absolutely someone who was going to go in the first round. And, well, it did not end very well for Ja'Kai Polite and the New York Jets. So let's get into it. I'm going to transition and we'll go through some of these takes and just talk about them. So let's start. Like I said, mine reply, I'll start with Ja'Kai Polite in the third round. Josh says, after losing the AFC Championship game to Pittsburgh, this decade would belong to the Jets. Woof, that was tough. That AFC Championship game is one that I'm still not over. I thought in 2011 they'd come back and definitely win the thing, and a lot went wrong in 2011 and the following decade. Jake says, I thought Braylon Edwards and Santonio Holmes were an elite duo together. They were solid, at least in 2010, though the 1 year that they were together. Braylon Edwards left in 2011. Santonio Holmes, I mean, he got the contract, and then things kind of went off the rails a little bit after that. But in 2010, they were definitely productive, so I don't think that's a super cold take from Jake. Boneless Bread says, Joe Douglas is holding the franchise back and needs to go. That's a hot take. That's not a cold take. That's an extremely hot take. I don't think Boneless Bread knew what I was asking. Rich says, I've been going to a bar every Sunday for 38 years to watch these guys play. Also not a cold take. I don't understand. I thought Bryce Petty was the future. Okay, that is definitely a cold take. He was drafted in, the fourth round of 2015. Played a little bit in 2016 and 17. He was not very good. NYJ today says Marcus May can't play a 16-game season. I could understand that take maybe after, his first rookie year. He struggled staying on the field, but he's been solid ever since then, and he's definitely a safety that I would like to bring back and someone I would like to sign. I think that would be a good thing to have him back. Paul says, thinking 2015 was going to the Super Bowl during that crazy win streak, but also thinking Geno Smith could have done that and more with that team after the fact. That is a very hot take that ended up going cold, I believe. I don't think Geno Smith would have been able to do what Ryan Fitzpatrick did. It was just everything coming together and the perfect timing of the IK Anampali disaster, whatever that was, before the season starts. So Ryan Fitzpatrick takes over. He plays stellar for 16 out of the 17 weeks of the year, and they fall a little bit short, put up some pretty solid numbers. I guess I'll add to the cold take thing. I thought he was going to play well in 2016, and he did not. So hand up, that was a cold take for me on that one. Paul can't say that I agree with you on the Geno Smith being able to do more with that team. The absolute coldest was I thought we would be good with a stronger O-line and second year in system Sam Darnold. Yeah, Sam Darnold this past year, I have some cold takes on Sam Darnold. I thought he was taking the year 3 leap for sure. Bill says, I thought Jet Nation finally had a big-time wide receiver when they had Chaz Chillins and Matthew Hatchett. I'm sorry, that's just funny. That's great. After 2015, I wanted to give McCagnon a 10-year contract. Thank God that didn't happen. I thought that was from, Schwei? SCHWYY. Mike says, I thought Dexter McDougal was going to be a great slot corner, so high energy and physical at the line, but that didn't pan out. No, it did not. That is definitely a cold take. Those early to mid 2010 not free agent, but like corners, the random ones, yeah, that's not great. Said Jets calendar says, also, I was more excited for Geno than I was Sanchez Darnold. That's an interesting take. I definitely was not. I wasn't a big Geno guy. Sanchez, I thought that after year 2, he put up 30 touchdowns in year 3, but I thought he would take more of a step in year 3, just like I thought Darnold would too. I didn't think Darnold would step back. It's really sad what happened to both those guys. I thought Browning, Nagel, and Ken O'Brien, heir apparent. Oh boy. Sorry, hashtag Jets. Hated the Mackay. Sam says hated the Mackay Becton pick on draft day. I'll be honest with you. I probably would have went with Tristan Wirfs in that spot. On the live stream with me, Ryan, Green Bean, and Gangrene David, we were talking about that. We all kind of said that the safer pick is probably Tristan Wirfs, but I don't think you go wrong with either of those guys. I thought Calvin Pryor was going to be like what Jamal Adams turned into. Okay. Yeah, I thought Calvin Pryor, after his second year in the league, was fine, right? He was drafted in 2014. I thought he had a good 2015, and then it kind of all fell apart after that. Vernon Golston was going to be an all-pro, LOL, Brian says. Yeah, that was really the last time the Jets took a legitimate swing at edge in the draft and did not go very well. Anthony says, I thought Hackenberg would be a part of our future. Ouch, that is a cold take. Christian Hackenberg taken in the second round, never played a regular season game in the NFL. Matt says Ryan Fitzpatrick can play for at least 5 more years during the Buffalo game on Thursday night in 2016. I technically wasn't wrong. I just thought maybe we would want him. Yeah, I mean, I got fooled a couple of times from Ryan Fitzpatrick. That's the thing with Fitz. It's so up and down and so streaky. That first year was really a lot of fun. That Buffalo game was a great quarterback game in 2016, and then it just went completely off the rails. I believe the 5-interception performance against Kansas City came the next week. So that, talk about a 180 there. What else we got? I thought Stephen Hill was going to be a stud. Never seen someone so happy to be drafted. LOL. Yeah, the Jets went through a stretch of second-round wide receivers that just did not go very well. John says Jason Morrow was going to be the next Antonio Gates. I loved Jason Morrow. I thought he was going to be solid in, 2014 was his rookie year, and then he gets hurt in 2015. I thought 2016, all right, come back, put up some solid numbers, and just that was never the case. I agree. I was on the Jason Morrow bandwagon with you guys. I thought Gase would have been a great hire. Sorry I can't keep a straight face. That never happened. LOL. I don't think very many people like the Gase hire. Thought the signing of Derek Mason in 2011 was a steal. Yeah, I don't agree with you there. I didn't like that decision to go away from Jericho Cotchery. Sorry. Jason says, I thought Mark Sanchez was the answer. In the 2010 playoff run, I thought so too. I thought he would turn around and continue to develop and play like he did in the playoffs because he was solid. In those 2 years in the playoffs, he put up some decent numbers. Thought for sure we'd end up with Baker in 2018. Then thought we made out fine with Darnold. I think most Jets fans felt the same way about Sam Darnold for sure. We 100% traded up that year expecting to take Baker. Everyone had Darnold to the Browns. Agree. I thought Darnold was the number 1 pick. I thought, wow, HH says, I thought Stephen Hill was the next Megatron. Okay, that's very ice cold. I'm sorry, HH. That's a tough one. I thought D. Miller was going to be an automatic starter and a number 1 cornerback for years to come. Almost bought his rookie jersey. Good thing you didn't admit. Oh, my God, that would have been rough. Here we go. Sean says another Jason Morrow one. Thought Jason Morrow was going to be legit. So did I. Rosen was the best quarterback. I'm out on draft prediction business. JD, take the wheel. LOL. I like Josh Rosen a lot too. He was my quarterback 3, but I went Darnold, Baker, Rosen, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. Those were my top 5 quarterbacks in the 2018 draft class. Hackenberg could be a stud. Sorry, Christopher. That one didn't happen. Irish Kevin says Kellen Clemens would have been the best career for the 2006 draft quarterback class. Interesting. Okay. I think you'd probably say Cutler ended up with the best one from that draft. Nadrod says, I thought Devin Smith was a more well-rounded Deshaun Jackson. You're not the only one who was high on Devin Smith. I personally never was, but I know a lot of people, especially on Jets Twitter in 2015, that thought he was going to be a long-term answer. Part of the reason he just couldn't stay healthy. I thought Sam Darnold would be a future MVP. You're definitely not alone in that thought, Jets nerd. Aiden says Geno Smith would be a franchise quarterback. I didn't necessarily buy into that. He was a second rounder. I thought that was a weird pick for me. Andy says, I thought John Connor would be the next Brad Baxter. Yeah, talk about someone who's overhyped in John Connor. Kyle says, I thought D. Milner was the next Revis. A lot of D. Milner takes on here. He was good in college, just a little bit too hurt, and that kind of ended up coming back to bite him a little bit. Jared says, I thought Geno Smith was a huge steal. I thought Adam Gase was a good hire. You're in the minority there, the Joyceman. Michael says, I thought after 50 years, after Super Bowl III, the Jets would be in the Super Bowl. Yikes, that's a tough one. Brian says, this is years ago, but I thought Blair Thomas was going to be a Hall of Famer after his career at Penn State. Okay, that's a little before my time, but I got to give you credit on that one. Yeah, understandable. Zach Wilson season says I wanted us to pick Rosen. A lot of people loved Josh Rosen. I thought he was good. I thought the top 3 quarterbacks, in which I had Darnold, Baker, and Rosen, I thought were all going to be great at the next level. I really did. Ooh, Louis D says I thought Christian Hackenberg was a good pick. Tough. Sad Jets calendar. I thought Vernon Golston and Jason Morrow were going to be stars. Yeah, neither of those guys really panned out too well, unfortunately. After his first game against the Bills, I thought Stephen Hill was going to be a legit wide receiver. Also, somehow, even with a bad scouting report, Tanny found a gem. Yeah, you're not alone in the Stephen Hill one. He had a couple of good games. What was that, the 2012 season? That was tough. Leon Hall over Revis. That's funny. Dustin Keller from Take Flight 24. I thought Dustin Keller was solid. I don't think that's a cold take. LOL +1. That's about my take, I guess, on Ja'Kai Polite. Cole says I liked Adam Gase. Definitely not. Nick says I thought Robbie Anderson was overrated and Sam Darnold was our savior. Yeah, I guess, both are cold. I would agree with that, unfortunately. I thought Tannehill was bad and Gase wasn't the problem. I also thought Tannehill was bad. I didn't think it was... I didn't like Gase, though, in Miami. There was some toxic traits going on even back then. Stephen Hill was going to be a monster in the league. Don't forget Vlad Dukas. I did not like Vlad Dukas. I did not like that pick at all. Jeremy says, I was so pumped for Percy Harvin. That was a weird one. I remember I was on the train into the city when that trade went down, and I was like, why? Like, Percy Harvin? That was such a random jet. Chad says Kyle Wilson. LOL, he was so bad. He really was not good. Oh, this is definitely a hot take that went super cold from C-Rad. I thought Kyle Brady was a better pick than Warren Sapp at the time. So did the Jets. So you're not alone there. History would say otherwise. 2014 Jets with Geno Smith, who I thought would become a stable quarterback for the future, would make noise and be 11-5 and make the playoffs. Wow. Sorry, Nicholas. That 2014 Jets before the 2020 Jets were my least favorite Jets I've ever watched. I did not like that team at all. Mike says, after watching Revis' rookie season and playing Madden against my friends with the rookie Revis and destroying his passing game, I said Revis was my favorite player and he would be an elite quarterback. That's a hot take. I also said something about Sanchez being a top 5 quarterback for years to come and dethroning Tom Brady. Okay, now that's a massive step back. Sorry, Mike. There's the cold take. City Line says, I thought Quentin Coples was going to be the next big thing at defensive ends. Yeah, so did Rex. Rex Ryan loved Quentin Coples. Steve says, thought Perry Nickerson was a gem. Yeah, that was an intriguing swing. I liked that one. I honestly liked the Perry Nickerson pick more than Bless Austin, but Bless has been a much better NFL player. Jason Morrow, there you go. I thought Chad Hansen would be our Julian Edelman. Well, he kind of, I guess, turned into that a little bit with the Texans, but yeah, he did nothing with the New York Jets. Mark says Darren Lee was going to turn into a solid linebacker. Spotty says we need to give this guy Idzik a shot before we rule him out. Let's just see how this shakes out. That was tough. He was not a good GM. Good tipper Joe Douglas says we will miss Jamal Adams. Yeah, they really haven't yet. Saying Sam Darnold was the best quarterback in his class by a mile and would put up MVP numbers this year. Unfortunately, a cold take, something that I think I bought into as well. KJ4NYJ says, I thought Lorenzo Malden was going to be will turn into a stud. That's an interesting one. He flashed a little bit his rookie year, if I remember correctly, and then kind of just went completely quiet after that. That was definitely a strange one. D. Milner, Deshaun Watson says, I thought we would win 9 games last season. That's not, I mean, it turned out to be a cold take, but you weren't super wrong on that. I think I had them at 7-9 or 8-8, somewhere around there. Hashtag number 1, Robert Saleh fan, future coach of the year, says Chris Herndon would be a top 10 tight end this year. Sounded good at the time. I had him to have over 700 receiving yards this year. I was very high on Chris Herndon. Still think he should get a shot, though. Brian says, I thought Brashad Perriman would match Robbie's production this year. Yikes. That was a swing and a miss from you, Brian, unfortunately, and from the Jets, as I think they're kicking themselves over that one. We should keep Sam, says Drip Bayless. I guess that's a cold take. I thought we'd get it right with Zuniga after Polite. Okay. Anil says, I like the Darren Lee pick a lot since we never drafted speed on defense. Salah the Savior says, I thought Sam Darnold was going to turn the Jets into a playoff team. So there you go. Those are some of the cold takes from Jets fans over the years. Let me know what your cold take is in the comments below. You can add me on social media, Matt O'Leary NY. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and I'll talk to you next time.